Haggerty, and welcome to What Did I Just Watch? And what did I just watch? I just watched a classic, Sunset Boulevard. Now, probably a lot of you out there have already seen this movie. I don't know how I never did, and weirdly, until this week, I actually thought that I had seen it. I'd always thought I'd seen this movie until a friend started to discuss it and describe it, and I kind of said, that doesn't sound familiar at all. I don't think I've ever seen this. And I hadn't. The movie I was actually confusing it with was All About Eve, which was similarly themed in a way, I suppose, about, a Hollywood titan who was kind of seeing her days behind her, and actually from the same year, from 1950. But this movie is much darker than that and fascinating, truly fascinating. Again, I'm probably coming late to the party, so you probably know all this, but really heady stuff for a movie made in that era, and not entirely dated, other than the narrative. The narration parts I could have done without. The dialogue is a little, she was lying like a cheap suit, and it was like, kind of 50s, gumshoe detective dialogue, which doesn't age well. But apart from that, really, really solid acting. Gloria Swanson and William Holden are both terrific. And it's with cameos by Sissy DeMille and Buster Keaton as themselves. It's really a good movie. I mean, it's really disturbing. It's kind of almost like a psychological thriller in a lot of places, and just really, the characters are very dark, and they're very, William Holden, I mean, who I guess is the sympathetic character that we're supposed to care about and like and be, following with, is really a scumbag, and he's really taking advantage of this woman who's, insane, let's put it that way, and he's kind of a hustler. And it's hard to believe they were making movies with such dark and heady topics back then, in the pre-code era, when things were, you kind of had to keep things on a bit more of a family level. And this movie certainly does not. It's very dark, it's very gritty, and I gotta say, I didn't like the fact that it starts off with William Holden dead, and we're kind of backtracking on the story. I didn't like that. I mean, I guess it works in its own way, and I've seen movies where they've done that I thought worked a little bit better, but I almost felt like it spoiled the movie for me, like I kind of know what's coming. But, but that's me. I mean, who am I to say? This is a great, great film, and I totally recommend it. It also became a Broadway musical, weirdly, for something so dark. And interestingly enough, Gloria Swanson was herself a silent film star who, like the title character, kind of fell out of favor when the talkies came out. And in fact, the character who plays the butler, who happens to have been her first husband, was in fact her real first husband. So it's almost like a lot of life imitating art here. That's really weird when you look it up. But this is a great Hollywood milestone. I definitely recommend it. It's got a lot of great dialogue, memorable, classic lines. I'm ready for my close-up, Mr. DeMille, and I'm still big, the pictures got small, and a lot of other great lines in it. So it's very much recommended. Great movie, and especially, people who don't like to watch black and white movies because it finds that they're too boring and too dated and antiquated. Take a look at this, because this, to me, is as dark and as deep as anything you're going to find in a theater today. So I highly recommend it, and that's what I just watched. I'm Jim Haggerty. Thanks. Bye.